Hey everybody, Sean here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Overwatch's Halloween Terror event, going for the Held the Door achievement. This one can be done any time that Junkenstein's Revenge is going to be available in the arcade. It is to beat the mode on the hardest difficulty, so make sure you start that up. Just like any of the Overwatch PvEs, I recommend doing this in a group, as communication is going to be very important to get through this healthy challenge. For your team setup, if you are doing this in a group, I recommend McCree, Brigitta, Torbjorn, and Zenyatta. So before tackling things on the hardest difficulty, you should have a pretty familiar understanding with how the mode works before getting started. Once you get in, what you want to do is you want to make sure you have the Torbjorn player set up their turret at one of the three spots, either the overturned cart at the far side of the bridge, the left-hand pillar at the near side of the bridge, or at the little overhang to the right of the door. Brigitta is going to take point in this. She isn't going to be super great at dealing with the normal enemies. However, she's going to be instrumental in dealing with the bosses. And it's always good to have another healer on the team. But she doesn't have the best range on her. So she's going to be moving in and out of the three lanes and then moving back every now and again. And then finally, the McCree and the Zenyatta are going to hang back. McCree's going to pick people off from a distance. And Zenyatta is going to throw up the Orb of Healing on Brigitta, who's going to be taking the brunt of the damage while hanging back an Orb of Discording and firing from far away, helping out the McCree control the center. Torbjorn can also come back to the center and then help out with some firepower while he finishes wrapping up, setting up his turret. And then once everyone's in place, we are going to keep our eyes out for those scripted events. 651, the first tire is going to spawn. Make sure you have teammates call out for it. Brigitta is going to be very useful because you can use her shield bash to push back the tire. Then once you push the tire back, it should give the ranged characters extra time to deal with them, so that should be pretty useful. Make sure you stay on your toes here. You're going to have another random tire come in at 633. Again, make sure you have a teammate call it out, and then make sure you are quick to deal with it if it spawns far away from the Brigitta and she doesn't have a chance to shield bash it. Once both of the tires are taken care of, you're going to spend the next 30 to 40 seconds building up for the first boss fight. Make sure everyone has their ultimate ready, and then once Reaper pops in, you are going to want to deal with him pretty quickly. Reaper on the hardest difficulty is going to be able to one-shot your team using his ultimate, and he is going to get his ultimate really quickly, so make sure you deal with him as soon as he pops in. So once he spawns, I recommend having one person separate from the group. This is going to be recommended for the McCree. So once Reaper spawns in, make sure you have the McCree player combat roll up the stairs on the right and then hang out at that little overhang. Having the ultimate is going to be very useful here because you can use it to take out the Reaper really quickly. Having everyone else's ultimate is also going to be very useful for holding the center. So make sure Torbjorn uses it to pepper the front of the door with lava, and of course having Symmetra's ultimate is going to help out as it is going to give everyone invincibility for a while. But you definitely want to make sure you take out the Reaper before he throws off his ultimate. So the quicker you can take him out, the better, and then just get back onto the defense. You're going to have a little under a minute before the next scripted event, which is going to be the start of 3 random tires. So make sure you try to hang back with the McCree, and then make sure you keep a visual on the board. And then your goal is to try to build up your ultimates before the next boss while keeping an eye out for those shock tires. So next tire up is going to appear at 4 minutes and 54. It's going to be another random tire, so make sure you keep your eyes out for it. Once you notice it rolling in, make sure you try to quickly gun it down or have the Brigitta knock it back and then call it so the ranged characters can deal with it. So once you take care of that, it's going to be back to normal enemies for a bit. Next tire up is going to be at 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Again, another random one, so make sure you try to hang back and then try to get a big view of the board, and then make sure you take it out before it can get anywhere close to the door. And then finally, you have one more tire of this sequence, which is going to appear at 4 minutes and 25, another random one. Make sure you take this one out, and then we're going to move on to the next boss fight after the next crescendo of enemies. Brigitta and Torbjorn are definitely going to want to do the bulk of the normal zombies, and then McCree can stand back and then pop the zombardiers from far away. You definitely don't want to get overwhelmed by zombardiers, as they are going to do a ton of damage, especially if everyone's holding up at the door, and you don't want a ton of them on the board during the boss encounters. Once McCree has his ultimate, you should be ready to deal with the boss, who's going to be Junkenstein's monster, who's going to appear at 3 minutes and 53. Once Junkenstein's monster appears, he's going to appear on the right side of the far side of the bridge. You can use McCree's ultimate right here, which should take half of his health bar worth of damage if you can aim it right. Always remember to have a full clip before using it, and then once you use it, it's always going to be a very high risk, high reward system. If you have to shoot it off before you can get a full countdown, make sure you do so, as you do not want to die while trying to aim it, or have it interrupted by a zombardier or a roadhog pull. So make sure you try to use it the best you can, and then taking out half of the roadhog's health is going to allow you and the rest of your teammates to finish it off quickly. Make sure you rebound quickly after taking out the Roadhog. There's going to be a random tire at 3 minutes and 24. Make sure you don't let that one catch you off guard. And then we're going to keep pushing forward until we get the next boss at 2 minutes and 52, which is going to be the Symmetra. Symmetra is going to pop up, and then she's going to throw out her barrier, which is going to cut the playing field in half. If you still have McCree's ultimate, you can use it as soon as she spawns, and you can get her quickly before she puts the wall up. That being said, I would rather use it on the Roadhog, as he is going to deal a ton more damage. The Symmetra by herself isn't going to be too much of a threat, thankfully. So just make sure you have her come on down, and then make sure you slowly will her away. She is going to have a ton of health, but it's nothing too unmanageable. So let her come to you, and then just have everyone gang up on her. In the midst of fighting her, don't forget there is going to be a tire spawn coming from the right at 2 minutes and 36, so make sure you don't let that one catch you off guard. It's better to drag the fight in this direction so you can also take care of the tire while trying to deal with her. Once you take her out, it's going to be a pretty big gap until the next part, which is going to be 1 minute 52, where Junkenstein is going to appear on his little walkway at the right tower. So for this one, I am going to recommend that you try to use a McCree ultimate on him, because the McCree ultimate will pretty much almost kill the Junkenstein. So make sure you try to get to an advantageous spot, and you definitely want to make sure you take out the Junkenstein sooner rather than later, as he is going to put the door under some heavy fire, and anyone standing in front of it is going to take a ton of damage. So the sooner you get rid of him, the better, and make sure whenever he's out, there's not a ton of zombardiers on the map, because that damage in front of the door is going to be really bad to anyone who's standing there. If the McCree player is going to use his ultimate, you're going to have a ton of really good spots to use it at. So you can either cross the bridge and then make sure you try to shoot it underneath him. You can try to take the left path up, or you can hang out on the little overhang to the right of the door. Once you shoot off your ultimate, you should take off almost all of his health bar, and then just slowly inch your way forward and then finish him off. And then it's going to be back to the door. Make sure you quickly make it back there, and then you can help out your friends, because a Reaper is about to drop in at 1 minute and 36. And of course, if you don't remember from earlier, Reaper can one-shot everyone if he gets his ultimate off. The characters with the stunning abilities are definitely going to help out a bunch if the Reaper does get his ultimate off, so make sure Brigitta has her shield bash at the ready, or the McCree has his stun grenades at the ready, and you should be able to save everyone from the Reaper ultimate. Then you are going to get back into position. There's going to be the double tire at 49 seconds and at 47 seconds. First one's going to come in from the left. Second one's going to come in from the right. Once you get one, make sure you quickly get the other, and you shouldn't let those two catch you off guard. We're going to have another Reaper spawn at 33 seconds, so the third Reaper should come flying in. So make sure the McCree gets to safety, and then make sure you have everyone pick him off from far away. If he accidentally aggroes on the McCree, you can also just have everyone gang up on him as the McCree is backing away, and then make sure you do take advantage of your two stun abilities. While everyone is dealing with the Reaper, make sure you don't forget about the tire that spawns in at the 25-second mark. Make sure you take that out. That is the last tire of the round. And then quickly deal with the Reaper before he gets his ultimate. Again, having those stuns is going to be super useful, but make sure you don't have everyone clustered up together, because the Reaper ultimate will mess up the team if everyone's bunched up. Once the coast is clear, make sure everyone groups up by the door, just run the clock out, and then get ready to start the boss round. On the hardest difficulty, the bosses are going to add a fourth boss in the form of the Symmetra, so you are going to have to deal with multiple things at a time. Having the McCree ultimate is going to be a godsend in this mode, so definitely don't waste it on the Reapers, even though it's tempting to. You want to make sure you try to clear the board of any zombardiers, so make sure you have your teammates do their best to take care of that. You want to make sure you try to find a spot where you aren't shooting in to Symmetra's wall, or you want to wait till the wall disappears. Make sure you try to get on the side, and then make sure you use McCree's ultimate. Do as much damage as you can to the Mercy, and then quickly finish her off. Hopefully McCree's ultimate also clipped the other bosses, that way you can have a significant amount of damage dealt to them. So if you manage to hit the Roadhog, you should take him down to half of his health, which is going to be super useful. Hopefully you did enough damage to the Symmetra, and if you can manage to also fit Junkenstein in, you should almost take him out. But nonetheless, the important thing is making sure that Mercy is taken care of, as you don't want anyone healing the bosses, and that way you can slowly take them out. But again, trying to fit as many people as you can into McCree's ultimate is going to be super useful. Make sure you try to take out the Roadhog the best you can, because you don't want to have him separate the group with his ultimate. The Symmetra should go down relatively easily, and then once we get down to just Junkenstein, we should have an easier time of picking him off since he only stays in one spot. Just make sure you have the group spread out a bit. Try to have the McCree player get their ultimate back, as you are pretty much able to take out Junkenstein with just your ultimate and a few pickup shots. Once McCree has his ultimate, make sure you have the other players pull Junkenstein's fire away from him, and then make sure you quickly line it up and then fire away. You should take out the Junkenstein, and then once you take care of that, you should be good for the run. There is going to be the win on the hardest difficulty, and there's the achievement that goes along with it. 15 gamer score for this one, and that's all there is to it.